Yoga is not just a physical exercise. It's not just about getting our bodies in shape or losing weight or firming and trimming the different parts and muscles of our body. It's also not just about treating ailments and injuries in the body. Yoga is actually a system and science of life. It is a way of life, of living in balance, living in alignment, living in union. The word yoga literally means union. That's what the Sanskrit word means. So when we unite, most of us think of uniting just, our nose to our knees or our fingers to our toes. Finally, I can touch my nose to my knees, or I can finally touch my fingers to the ground. But that's not the union that yoga is really about. It's about the union of this individual self, what we call Jiv Atma, with the divine, the supreme reality, what we call Param Atma. So yoga is a way of life that is rooted upon the awareness that we are one, but also a way of life that brings us every minute and every moment closer and closer to the awareness of oneness, closer and closer to the experience of oneness. And so the sage Patanjali gave us this beautiful Ashtanga yoga, 8 limbs of yoga. And they begin with yam and niyam, or what in the West we call the yamas and the niyamas. Those are the ways we live in the world. Live with ourselves, live with others. The way that we live with nonviolence and truthfulness and not stealing or hoarding, and the way we live in purity, the way we live in surrender to the divine. All of that and more. That's actually the foundation of yoga. So no matter how good your triangle pose may be, or no matter how long you may be able to stand on your head in Shirshasana, if you're not living according to the principles of yam and niyam, it's not actually yoga. If you're living with violence and stealing and hoarding and lack of integrity in your relationships, if you're living without purity, without spiritual practice, without a surrender to the divine, then what you're doing is great for the body, athletics or calisthenics or stretching or aerobics, but it isn't actually yoga. Yoga stays with us every minute and every moment of the day. And then after asana, so we've got yam and niyam as limbs 1 and 2, the foundation. And on that then is asana, limb number 3, the physical postures. And then pranayama, working with the breath. So we work with our lives, then we work with our body, then we work with our breath. Then we begin the work with our attention and intention and our mind. Through pratyahara and dharan and then dhyan and into samadhi. It's this practice of coming to a single pointed focus. A word, a candle flame, an image. Then moving into full concentration on that object. Again, a divine image or a word or a mantra or a candle flame. And then emerging of the object of what we are concentrated upon and the one who is concentrating. Emerging of the object of meditation and the one who is meditating. And that's when we get into samadhi, that ecstatic oneness. So yoga is not just what we do on a mat. It's how we think. It's how we live. It's how we eat. It's how we dress. It's how we shop. It's how we breathe. It's how we understand ourselves and the universe. It's how we work with our mind. And it becomes the very foundation upon which every other aspect of our life is based. So if you're doing yoga, wonderful, do it. But also remember, yoga is something to live, not just to do.